In this video, we'll figure out a geometric algebra form of Maxwell's equation, translating from the Gibbs form of Maxwell's equations with curls and divergences to a multivector form that incorporates all of these into one single equation. Because they're useful in antenna and microwave engineering and don't add much additional complexity, I've included fictional magnetic charge density ρ sub m and current density m sources. We'll use E and H as the primary fields, assuming that the electric fields E and D are also related by a scalar, not tensor proportionality factor epsilon, and that the magnetic fields B and H are related by a scalar, not tensor proportionality factor mu. This implies that we're treating the matter containing the fields as isometric, the same in all directions. We're going to make a series of transformations using linear combinations of Maxwell's equations. We'll first group our divs and curls to show that we can find a pair of multivector gradient equations, one for each field, using the geometric product of the gradient and that field. We'll then scale our magnetic fields, so it, like the electric field, has SI units of volts per meter, and write it out as a bivector I eta h, where eta is the square root of mu over epsilon. We'll see another constant combination, the reciprocal square root of mu epsilon, occur repeatedly. We'll label this C. In a future video, we'll show that C is the speed of propagation of the fields in regions free of sources. After this rescaling of the magnetic gradient equation, we'll be able to add our two remaining equations and factor out all the differential operators to find Maxwell's equation. We've taken Maxwell's equations, a seemingly crazy mix of divs and curls and sines, and found a simple underlying structure for it all. Wow. We'll write out our combined electric and magnetic field multivector as F, called the Faraday, and we'll call the current and charge density multivector J. It's tempting to give the spacetime differential operator a special symbol, but I won't do that here. I will, however, call it the spacetime gradient, an entity that happens to have an intrinsically relativistic four-dimensional structure. Applications of this unified form of Maxwell's equations will be left for future videos. We're going to use the fields E and H as our primary fields, writing B equals mu H and D equals epsilon E. After that substitution, we're left with a curl and divergence equation for E and a curl and divergence equation for H. We'll be able to group Maxwell's equations by taking advantage of the geometric product in reverse. The geometric product of two vectors, x and y, has a dot product and a wedge product component. We can write the wedge product in its dual form as I times the cross product. Because the gradient is a vector, we're free to write x equals grad and substitute grad y equals grad dot y plus I grad cross y. We can now group the divergence equation for E, that is Gauss's law, and the curl equation for E, the Maxwell-Faraday equation, into a single gradient equation for E. We use grad dot E plus I grad cross E to form the gradient of E is ρ over epsilon minus I m minus I mu dh dt. We can do the same thing for Gauss's law for magnetism and the Ampere-Maxwell equation, taking grad dot h plus I grad cross h to form grad h equals ρ sub m over mu plus ij minus I epsilon dE dt. Our electric and magnetic fields have different units, volts per meter and amperes per meter respectively, which is a bit annoying when we want to form a complex superposition of the two. There are two combinations of mu and epsilon that are particularly useful. The first we'll call eta, which is the square root of mu over epsilon. This has units of ohms, the dimensions of resistance. The second is a combination that we'll call C, that's 1 over the square root of mu epsilon. This has dimensions of velocity. We'll use eta h as the redimensionalized magnetic field, so that both electric and magnetic field components of our total electromagnetic field have units of volts per meter. In our electric field gradient equation, we can rewrite mu as the square root of mu over epsilon times the square root of mu epsilon. This is eta over c. We'll see that we want to treat the magnetic field as a bivector instead of a vector, so we group together I eta h as our magnetic bivector field variable. We can now proceed to rewrite our grad h equation as the gradient of I eta h. First we multiply both sides by eta to find an equation for grad eta h and simplify it. Then we multiply through by the pseudoscalar I, noting that I commutes with vectors. We're left with an equation for grad I eta h. We can now write out our equations for grad E and grad I eta h, with all the differential operators on the left. Our grad E equation has only scalar and bivector terms. Our grad I eta h equation has only vector and trivector terms. In both, all units have dimensions of volts per meter squared, so we're free to add these without any loss of information. Performing that sum, we see that we naturally end up with a total electric and magnetic field multivector E plus I eta H. We can factor all the differential operators, leaving us with a hybrid space and time differential operator that acts on the combined electromagnetic field, resulting in a charge multivector. This is Maxwell's equation singular. We could call it a day. However, it's aesthetically pleasing to write F equals E plus I eta H, our combined electromagnetic field, sometimes called the Faraday, and to write J with all the source, charge, and current density contributions. We've assembled the multivector form of Maxwell's equations by selectively adding and scaling our original equations in ways that might seem suspect. We should now be able to verify that we haven't lost any information by doing this, and extract the original curl and divergence relations from our unified multivector Maxwell's equation. To do so, we need only apply grade selection operations for each of the 0, 1, 2, 3 grades to select the scalar, vector, bivector, and trivector grades of the multivector Maxwell's equation, then show how those relate to the original equations. Let's start by selecting the scalar grade. All of the grade selections from the current and charge multivector are trivial, as we explicitly have one term for each grade. On the right-hand side, the time partials contribute only vector and scalar grades, and grad I eta H has only vector and trivector grades. This leaves us with eta C rho as the grade 0 selection of grad E. That is, grad.E equals rho over epsilon. Next we select the grade 1 components of Maxwell's equations. On the left, we have minus eta J. On the right, we have contributions from dE dt and grad I eta H. We can commute I and grad, and then expand grad H as grad.H plus grad wedge H. The scalar term does not contribute to the vector grade selection, and we can further expand grad wedge H as I times grad cross H. Dividing through by eta leaves us with the Ampere-Maxwell equation. To extract the bivector components, on the left we have minus Im. On the right we have contributions from ddt of I eta H and from grad E. We write out the bivector term of grad E in dual form using the cross product, then we multiply through by I to find the Maxwell-Faraday equation. Selecting trivector components, on the left we have just I C rho sub m. On the right, only the gradient of I eta H contributes to the trivector term. In particular, if we commute I and grad and expand grad H as grad.H plus grad wedge H, we see that only the grad.H contributes to the overall grade 3 selection. We're left with I C rho m equals I eta grad.H. Dividing through by C, we're left with rho sub m equals mu times grad.H, or grad.B. This is Gauss's law for magnetism with the fictitious magnetic charge density added. We've shown that we can use grade selection applied to our multivector Maxwell's equation to show that we can recover the Gibbsian form of Maxwell's equations. We started with Maxwell's equations, augmented with fictitious magnetic charge and current densities. We introduced redimensionalizing factors eta and c, where eta had dimensions of ohms and c had dimensions of velocity, and assumed that our matter had isometric properties, that is, it's the same in all directions, and recast Maxwell's equations with E and H as the primary fields. We were able to form specific linear combinations of Maxwell's equations to show that they can be written as a multivector equation, with a multivector current and charge density on one side, and on the other, a space-time derivative operator acting on a combined electromagnetic field called the Faraday. We finished off by showing we were able to recover the original conventional Maxwell's equations by grade selection. Applications will come in a future video. This video was made with Manim and DaVinci Resolve. Please like, subscribe, and share for more content of this nature. For more geometric algebra content, check out my blog, peteryote.com, where you'll also find my book, Geometric Algebra for Electrical Engineers, and plenty of other math and physics related content, including LaTeX typeset notes for a number of undergrad and graduate physics and engineering classes.